Okay, so I have a question, but I think he has answered it already. The main question. So the second question is, what will you have done better 7 years ago or say 8 years ago? If there's anything you
Hmm.
will have done better.
In all honesty, what I would have done better is to have been more financially prudent, because I would say early enough in my life, God blessed me financially. Sincerely, I touched money early enough as a student, but maybe because of youthful exuberance and lack of financial mentorship, I will say I did some of the things that I did that actually made me, financially not stable at some point in my life. You understand?
Okay,
Because as
can
a
I cut
young
it there?
guy,
Please, can I cut
yes,
it there? Professionally,
yes.
can you relate it to your profession now? Do you think you will have done better professionally as a
Okay, in
gospel
the
comedian?
profession as a gospel
Yeah, in
comedian,
profession.
in all honesty, if I'm to be very, very honest, two things I would have done better. One, I would not have chosen the name Aboki for Christ.
Why?
Thank you for asking. The truth is that if I knew earlier that there is a business aspect of this comedy, sincerely, I would not have chosen the name Aboki for Christ. That will not make me less a Christian. It will not make me less a gospel person. You understand? The fact that I did not add Christ to my name doesn't make me less a Christian. Mercy Chinwo, there's no Christ in her name. Frank Edward, there's no Christ in his name. But they are impacting and affecting Christ all over the nations of the earth. Reason why I say so is because there are companies that my name have been suggested to. There are events that my name was suggested to. They will say, our
Right.
company is a multi-religious, our customers are multi-religious, there are Muslims, there are Christians. So if we say our MC is Aboki for Christ, some people may not be comfortable. So that name, sincerely, I'm being very sincere. I know a lot of Christians may think otherwise, but talking from a business angle, sincerely, I would not have chosen that name. I would have chosen maybe my name. I would have used my personal name or use something neutral that doesn't affect. Because by the time you choose the name that depicts your religion or your faith, you have already chosen your client and your customer. Now, only people who believe in your faith and your religion, now that go patronize you. Imagine you opening a restaurant and you call it Jesus Meal Restaurant or Holy Ghost Filled Restaurant. The truth is that there are Muslims who will not patronize you. There are non-Christians who will not patronize you because of that name. Not because you are doing anything bad, but because of the name. They are not associating with that name. Do you understand me? I am not saying I am ashamed of being identified with Christ. I am proudly Christ's disciple. You understand? Proudly Christ's disciple. But for the sake of business, I would not have chosen that name.
My
That is
brother,
one. I said two things. I said two things. The second thing is that when I started and God, pushed my name, the fame was everywhere. I would have also performed on some platforms like the AY Life, like the Night of a Thousand Laughs, like the Basket Mouth and other people's platform. But I chose only to perform in church because of the orientation I had. Be not unequally yoked with unbelievers. So it was in my subconscious that if I go to such platforms, I am being unequally yoked with unbeliever. That was the level of understanding I had then. But I understand better. I would have performed there. It would have given me exposure. It doesn't make me less the apostle of Christ. I will still do my clean gospel comedy on those platforms, and Jesus will still be glorified.
thank you, Aboki. And I think I can relate with you sincerely speaking. If I were to be asked the same question, Though my own name doesn't go the AY, the church or the Christ, but when most of
Yeah.
us started, we were too religious about
Yes.
the lack of knowledge. Similar to what you said, when I started, most of my content, even up to now, I won't lie to you, there's some content I cannot do now. Not because I don't have the
Yes.
creativity, but because my
Mm.
brand has been known with church, church, church. And sincerely speaking,
Exactly.
it has a negative effect on my brand. I remember when
Exactly.
was the Slum Geology in Port Harcourt many years ago wanted to invite me
Mm.
to. Somebody stood against it. That this guy is
Mm.
gospel spoken word artist. They now brought one of
Mm.
my mentees. He was the one telling me this. And I think as of then they
Mm.
paid him 500,000 naira. My boy was the
Can
one telling
imagine.
me because he was versatile. He was doing
Mm.
some motivational and educational content, but I was focusing on church, 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 Jesus, Jesus. Of course, we are
Yeah.
proud of Jesus.
Yeah.
Like you said, some Christians they criticize us, but we know better now. The business aspect
Yeah.
of it was not there then. But thank God today for
And
all
that's
of
the
them.
truth. That's the truth.